Hey everyone, Eric here. Thanks for tuning in. I know it's been a while since I last posted a video, but it's because I've been working pretty hard in my career, so excited to be back. Today I'm going to be covering how I was able to save up $100,000 in my bank account at the age of 23. And no, this is not clickbait, and I'm not trying to gloat at you in any way, shape, or form. The purpose of this video is really just to share some of my experiences with you in terms of saving money, as well as some of the minimalistic lifestyle choices that I've had to make in order to do so. Make sure to watch until the end of this video where you will understand the discipline that it took me to actually save up this type of money, how my net worth has grown and fallen over the years, as well as some of the lessons that I've learned throughout my experience or my journey. My hope is that some of the principles that I'm going to be sharing with you can be directly applied to your own lives. Ultimately, this video is probably going to be one of the most realistic ways of building wealth over time. In other words, this video is by no means a get-rich-quick video, and there will be no cutting of corners whatsoever.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini.
If you are one of those people that works hard and delays gratification for the prospect of having future prosperity, then stay tuned. And if I provide you any value, feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and leave a like on this video for content that's similar to this in the future. Having said that, let's get started. Great, so first off, I wanted to start by elaborating on my net worth at the age of 10. I had about $3,000 saved up in my piggy bank at this time, and that was mostly from birthday presents and Christmas. However, instead of spending that money on things that I really wanted, which I would imagine are video games at that point, I decided to put that money in my makeshift M&M piggy bank. And although I was blessed to have a family that would contribute to this piggy bank every special occasion, I also did used to recycle cans and bottles for profit. So yeah, little Eric would be walking around picking up cans and bottles from around the neighborhood. My dad would also bring some home from work, and my grandma actually owned a restaurant in Redwood City, so I would get a ton of glass bottles and aluminum cans from there as well. Really, all I had to do was make sure that everything was sorted properly and then ask my parents to take me to the recycling centers. I would make roughly $50 to $70 every time that I took all of my bottles and cans to those recycling centers, and my parents would also get a cut as well. And you know, from a very young age, I really hated spending money, and I would much rather enjoy seeing my piggy bank get full instead. To be completely honest with you, I have no idea where I learned how to be frugal with my spending. All I know is that for as long as I can remember, that's been the case. So now fast forward to when I was 16 years old, I was actually able to get my first job as a soccer coach at the Community Youth Center in Concord. That job paid me minimum wage, which I believe was about $10 per hour at that time. And my net worth really doubled at that point from $3,000 to $6,000. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a huge soccer fan, and I've essentially played competitively my entire life, so it was an easy transition for me to just go from playing soccer to coaching it. Only 1 year later, I decided to pick up a hosting job at Red Robin in the Sun Valley Mall. I worked as a host for about 3 months there, and then was able to get promoted to a server and actually make some pretty good tips. An average night would net me about $80 in tips, but some nights I would make closer to $150. And this isn't factoring in the $10 that I was making in wage as well. However, this was a pretty stressful job considering that I had to deal with people's bullshit on a daily basis. Anybody that's worked in the food industry will agree with me here. I'm also incredibly clumsy, so carrying a tray over my shoulder was not second nature by any means. However, I only dropped 1 plate in my 2 years at Red Robin, so I'm going to consider that a huge success as well as a huge surprise. And I was also able to grow a relatively thick skin after the millionth time of being berated by a bunch of Karens that told me that their well-done burgers weren't cooked enough. Burn that shit, Memo! No, literally, I would go to the line cooks and tell them to burn the burger. And oddly enough, the customers liked it sometimes. Most of the time. Now, by the time that I turned 20, I had tripled my net worth to about $18,000. That's when I was officially admitted to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and I had to say goodbye to the restaurant that had taught me so much. When I arrived to San Luis Obispo, I was actually able to get a job at a relatively expensive restaurant called Novo, where I was a food runner. That really didn't last very long though, because I was carrying expensive plates over my head that were also really heavy, so I couldn't take the stress of, dropping that on somebody and maybe seriously injuring them, or just dropping the plates in general and having to pay for them. It was at that point that my net worth fell a few $1,000s just to pay for some college entertainment. Yes, believe it or not, I had fun in college. Mind-blowing, I know. So by the time that I graduated from college, my net worth was roughly $14,000 at the age of 22. So you may be asking yourself, how did you manage to save $86,000 in less than a year and a half? Well, thankfully, I was able to find a sales position for a tech company out in San Francisco that I've been working at since July. And that company has essentially helped me save the money that I have today. So yes, my only source of income right now is coming from my full-time position, which is why I'm doing my best to work on YouTube, and I also have my own blog. Hopefully one day I'll be able to monetize that. So with your support, maybe that will be the case. And for those of you who are struggling to find a job in this market, I completely understand. It is a very difficult market to be finding a job right now. now. I will say that I spent roughly 6 months during my senior year of college actually looking for a position. I think I interviewed with probably like 15 to 20 companies, so that's just the type of commitment that it takes. And I also sacrificed a lot. I didn't go to spring break. I didn't party as much as I could have. I really made those sacrifices in order to prioritize what was important to me, which was getting a job. Sometimes you really just have to prioritize your time and understand what's important to you. I'm also incredibly grateful and financially blessed that my parents were able to help me pay for college as well as get some scholarships along the way, so I have no debt in that sense. And not only that, but my parents also opened their doors to me after I graduated from college, so they have essentially enabled me to save this type of money. And at this point, I have all of my money in my bank account. I don't have a dollar in the stock market, and the reason being is that I'm using all of my money to buy my first investment property in the very near future. As I'm sure you're aware if you live in the Bay Area, the cost to own a piece of real estate is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm waiting for the real estate market to correct itself before I make a move. And I've also considered looking at a state because what you can buy here for $800,000 can buy you a freaking mansion in Texas. I've covered this in a previous video, but a lot of people have left California for various reasons, such as high real estate costs as well as high taxes. So really, I am so close to getting the opportunity to be able to buy my own house, which is something that I've really been saving for my entire life. I'm gonna take a brief pause here. If I provided you any value thus far, feel free to smash that like button. It really helps me out. It helps spread my content to other viewers. So please, if I provided you any value, don't do it for me, do it for Snow. Thank you. All right, moving on. So now I'm going to be sharing with you some of the tips that I've learned throughout the years in order to save money. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I didn't buy this jacket. This is probably one of the most expensive jackets that I own, and I can't imagine it's any more than $100. And I'm not sure if you've noticed, but I wear very similar clothing every single day. If you know me in person, this is a given. And these are not designer brands, these are straight from TJ Maxx or Marshalls. Seriously, nobody cares what you are wearing on your back. And if they do, then you should probably find new friends. Plus, you can't even go out right now because of the damn pandemic, so don't even waste your money. Next up, don't buy an expensive car. This is probably one of the worst things that you can do when you're young. Cars depreciate in value roughly 30 to 40% after just 1 year of owning it. And not only that, but insurance rates are highest for teens, and especially if you are male under the age of 25. This is gender discrimination, but that's the world we live in. So please, if you need a car, just buy a cheap used one. Again, nobody cares what kind of car you drive, and if they do, they should probably mind their own damn business.
Mind your damn mother!
The third is to stop going out to eat and start making your own food. Eating out adds up very quick, so try to limit yourself to at most 1 time per week. Not much to add here, just control yourself. It's also extremely important for you to learn about money now that you have the chance to before you become saddled with debt later on. And I'm actually going to shamelessly promote my content here. I have covered things from building your credit scores to investing in a Roth IRA to building out your multi-million-dollar portfolio. So go ahead and check out all these videos below. I might be pretty biased, but I think they're pretty good. No, but seriously, these videos will help you build your foundation for accumulating wealth over time. The sad reality is that although there is a ton of information online ready for you to access, most of you are going to use that information and actually apply it to your daily lives. In other words, a lot of people will try to cut corners like trying to game the stock market or succumb to the rat race just because their friend has a nicer car than them. Instead, focus on building your financial foundation and your wealth. Educate yourself on finance, invest properly, and really just live a minimalistic lifestyle and reap the benefits later on. And that isn't to say that you don't have fun along the way. I don't spend a whole lot of money, but I am absolutely content with my life and where I'm at right now. That doesn't mean that I'm not striving for more in the future. But really, the choice is yours. Would you rather spend all of your money when you're young on material things and short-term gratification, or would you rather save, invest properly like I mentioned, and have more later? No, there really is no right or wrong choice. Ultimately, just do what makes you happy and, live with the consequences later.
What will you learn? That your actions have consequences!
And that's it. I hope I was able to provide you a realistic idea of how you can increase your net worth over time by making frugal life choices. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and leave a like on this video if I provided you any value. Would really appreciate that. And also check out my blog at themillipreneur.com. Pretty much everything that I have on YouTube is written over there, so if you'd like to go subscribe to that, feel free to do so. Happy holidays, thrilled to be back, and super excited to be putting out content on a weekly basis once again. Bye now.